More notably, we still don't really have much info on Jayden Daniels, and that's because the team is being immensely vague. Whenever they're asked about Daniels, they don't really give much. They say he's day-to-day, and they're not going to miss any markers, and they kind of keep it moving. This is the same group who last year never acknowledged that there was a break in the rib. They just said he had a rib. And whenever they were asked questions about that, they didn't really give any more detail.
He's in possession of a rib.
Turned out he played through the injury because it was a pain threshold thing, and for a month was compromised, and it cost him and them a little bit, but for the most part, he was still your best option, and they kept it moving. But now it's a knee, not a rib, and so that's not on the table. And so the question is, does he come back? Does he play against Atlanta? I don't know if you noticed this, but the tide is turning a little bit now on whether he's going to play for the Commanders against the Falcons. In the local media, I'm now hearing a lot more, he's probably not going to play against Atlanta. Well, we weren't even hearing that last Thursday about the game that he's already missed. Last Friday, it was very much it's coming down to the wire here. We're going to see what he does on Friday.
He's going to test it out, yeah.
I mean, the suggestion on Thursday, before he did not take the practice field on Friday, by a lot of the people, not only that cover the team locally, but I just mean everywhere around town was, well, maybe he's going to play and he's not going to miss any time. But now you fast forward to Tuesday, and all of a sudden the tenor seems to be that he might not play against the Falcons either, which is fascinating to me. I think it has a lot to do with how Marcus Mariota played and the fact that now you can take your time a little more because he played at a terrific level and the offense had its best game. But what do you make of that shift?
Again, this is sort of it doesn't quite jive with what we see. It's not the same as last year, because last year it was, he's playing, he's active, he's got a rib, and we were sort of told everything was fine, and yet as soon as the series ended, he's going to the sideline talking about Daniels, getting wrapped in some sort of middle body heating, massaging type thing to try to make it so that he's not in excruciating pain. And then he's not the same on the field. But then we're told everything's fine. So again, you have eyes, clear, obvious information. Look. These are easy data points to collect. You don't have to have you don't have to be Columbo, enough to have a detective license and ask weird probing questions to figure out what's going on. He's not right. I don't care what they say because he's not right. So then, now this year, you fast forward to an injury. Day to day, you return to play, the mile markers, it's all coming, it's all happening. And he's been day to day now for how many days has he been? What is this? We're going to be approaching 2 weeks where he's day to day. Interesting.
Yeah, I will continue to just say that the original thing that we heard and what we've talked about on the show was that the Falcons game was always the big question and more interesting, I would say. Was he going to play in that game? And the team certainly had hope, from what I can gather, that he would be available by then. And you're not going to rule him out before you need to last week either. But that was kind of the thought, was probably going to miss this week, and we'll see about next week. Hopefully it's only a game. I'm not ready to say he's not playing against the Falcons, but if you're asking me, do I think he's going to play, Danny? I would say no. I'm basing that on, number one, the fact that clearly the knee is still not 100% right, and until we see him take part in a full practice, which I doubt happens tomorrow, but it's possible, I guess, then that's just a fact. That's not speculation. If you're not practicing and you're wearing a knee brace that's gigantic, then clearly the knee is not right. This is not a rib. This is not a pinky on your non-throwing hand. You know what I mean? This is not your ear having some issue. Like, this is a knee for a guy that runs more than everyone else not named Lamar Jackson. So it's very, very simple for me. Until the knee is completely fine and you're not wearing a knee brace under your baggy sweatpants at the game that everybody can see because it's very, very big with, and keeping you from bending your leg essentially as you walk around on the sideline, then there's nothing to really discuss here. Then we're not that close. Am I upset that they're doing the day-to-day bit instead of the week-to-week thing? No, that's within their prerogative. Like, no problem. You want the Raiders to potentially prepare for him? I don't think they actually did. But if that's how you want to do it, go for it. You want the Falcons to prepare for both? Perfectly fine. And in this case, this time around, this week, maybe there is actually some question that maybe the healing is happening and he might be able to get back. Because we're talking about coming up on what would be, like 2.5 full weeks after the injury at the time of that game. So they're not doing anything wrong, but the idea that it's day-to-day is just flawed to me. Like, I don't believe in the premise that you can be day to day for 2.5 weeks. That means you were actually week to week. Like, you cannot simultaneously be day to day and week to week, in my opinion. Because someone might say, well, sure you can. It could just go on for a couple weeks. Well, those things are antithetical. Like, when the injury happened, it was week to week. It sounds worse to say that, so they said day to day. And you can always couch it with, we just don't know. This guy heals fast. He could come in and feel a lot better. Of course he could. I could come in tomorrow and have lost 14 pounds. Probably not going to happen, right? So this is more of a week-to-week thing. Luckily, we're 2 weeks in at this point. We're closing in on that. And so he is nearing a return, hopefully. But everything's on the table. You know, they told us nothing about the rib. They're telling us nothing about the knee. You can't, A, not give us any information and then be upset when people are speculating. You don't get to do both.
Right. Yeah, we're alone in the dark looking for a light switch, and all the data we have is that he was inactive.
Not
right?
to mention,
not playing.
specific to this show, the stuff we heard originally, which has all been right so far.
Absolutely.
Kind of led us to believe he might miss a couple games.
Totally. So, yeah, I mean, there's always the chance that this is all in the up and up. And here's what I mean. When you go, he's really, let's just say for the sake of argument, he really truly is day to day. And all it would take is this mile marker, this return to play metric, this thing or this baseline that he passes a test, and he hasn't quite passed it yet, or we don't quite feel comfortable. He could still, quote unquote, be day to day. My point there is, I don't believe you. You see what I'm saying? Like, you've lost the ability to tell me exactly what's going on with an injury and then have me take it at face value. Last year happened. Same thing with the Nationals, right? It's different organizations, different stuff. When the Nats tell me he's day to day, I'm going, please get him an X-ray because it might be a broken foot for Anthony Rendon. He's day to day. Might be a broken wrist for Danny Espinosa, and he played with it for 2 months. You see what I'm saying? Like, I've been burned enough times where I take you at face value. Sometimes it is face value, where they say Strasburg won't need surgery. And I go, we'll see about that. And it was just a little thing loose in his elbow. It wasn't actually the dire elbow thing that was the end of all time.
But you have the benefit of doubt now.
Yeah, this group does not have that. And that's okay. I mean, it sounds like a criticism. It's not. My point is, I now, because I saw what happened last year with their marquee player, where you told me everything was fine, and it wasn't. It wasn't until an Instagram Live that we found out the rib was actually broken. Anybody watching could tell, A, he ain't the same, B, they're treating it. That's not how someone who's totally healthy gets treated. So if you could tell me day to day, sorry, I don't believe you. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that, there's nothing else to that.
Yeah, and I want to go back and double click on something you said, which sounds like a criticism. I think it's important to point this out. I'll speak for myself, but it sounds like you agree with me. This is not a knock on the idea that, like, anyone's suggesting they should come out and tell you exactly what's going on with Jayden Daniels. I certainly don't feel that way. I don't think they should come out right away and say, hey, guys, there's a chance he misses 2 football games, and it's very possible that this lingers for a few weeks, and, you know, he actually has this PCL thing going on. I'm not saying they should do that at all necessarily, but I take issue with the idea that media and fans shouldn't then also be curious about what's going on. And it also is very, very possible that there is a lot more to the story than is being put out there. That's all I'm saying. And until we know what's going on, until you see him start to get back on the practice field, I think you can wonder about a timeline. You can wonder about the severity of the injury and what we're being told. I guess for me, there's kind of 2 ways to accept this information. One is you and I kind of going, they're not saying much. They're being purposefully vague. It's the exact same group who last year didn't acknowledge that he broke his rib. We have no idea what the actual injury is or the timeline. They're saying he might play Sunday. Last week, he wasn't playing Sunday. Now, all of a sudden on Tuesday ahead of Sunday, the following week, you're getting people saying he's probably not playing this week. Maybe not. In fact, I would bet against it, but he might. My point is, we don't actually know anything. But the other side of this would just be, here's what Dan Quinn said. That's what's going on. And you just take that and go, what else can we talk about? Let's look at other parts of the operation. And if you want to operate that way, God bless you. That's your prerogative. Like, that's what they're going to do on, you know, the Commanders broadcast network or whatever else. Right. Like, that's awesome. Do that. But as a person who wants to know exactly what's going on with the MVP and the face of the franchise and the guy that's going to take you as far as you're going to go with one of the most important body parts that he has as a running quarterback, I'm going to keep kind of wondering what's what.
Yeah, forgive my curiosity and interest on that
one. Exactly. You're going to have to forgive me for being interested in the face of the operation and the CEO of this Fortune 500 company's availability and sustainability to get healthy and stay on the field here in the weeks ahead. Let's go to Brian, who's in Georgetown on Grant and Danny. What's up, Brian? How are you?
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, bud.
Let's be honest, okay? I mean, the organization is definitely hiding things. A knee sprain, anyone that ever play any sport, it's pretty serious, even when it's a sprain. And for them to say it's day by day, I think that's total BS. And you know what? We are fine with Marcus. I would love to see him sit for another 3, 4, 5 weeks if needed. There's no need to rush him back, and there's no need to have another RG3 situation that we don't need.
Well, so the 3, 4, 5 weeks, I can't join you there because it could be a 2 to 3 week recovery for a knee sprain that gets you to being able to play against the Chargers at 100%. And if that's the case, when he's ready, play him. I'm not saying when he's 100% healthy, running around without a knee brace, sprinting on the practice field, cutting and jumping and playing basketball in his spare time, that he shouldn't be playing football again. Absolutely. All I'm saying is let's get there. Right? Let's make sure that that's happening. And what they were suggesting was that might happen. Day-to-day means that could be 48 hours, 72 hours. I think we have enough information now to know after that injury that was not the thing. That it was not in 48 or 72 hours he might be running, cutting, sprinting, and ready to play a football game again. I mean, it has been now, 11, 12 days? Thursday night football, 7 from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 12 days ago? And he's wearing a big hulking brace. Would he be full practice? Will he be tomorrow? I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll learn a lot more tomorrow, for sure.
Let's go to AJ in Gaithersburg on Grant and Danny. What's up, AJ?
Hey, guys. So I had a little bit different take on it. And it was, first of all, by the way, 3 or 4 or 5 weeks we can do without Jayden Daniels.
That's another interesting
point. I don't agree with that
at all.
I mean,
it's all well and good after you pummel a bad Raiders defense, but if you go to Atlanta and get sacked 6 times and you lose a football game by a field goal, I think the idea of how urgently they need him back is going to change a little bit.
Absolutely. My take was that they beat the Raiders so handily, and they might, after seeing Atlanta get drubbed by 30 points, that they might have just changed it up and said, we don't need them now. But they don't want to put that out in the media and give bulletin board material to Atlanta. Like, we're not taking them seriously.
So, and I appreciate the call. People have this kind of week-to-week view of it, which I appreciate because that's the nature of the league. To me, this is the most important player this franchise has had in decades. The reason everyone's key card is going to work in 10 years, please treat him well. Please do right by him. If they were playing the Cowboys this week, the Eagles next week, and another NFC power the week after that, I still need him healthy for the rest of this year, for the long term, etc. So I understand the point, and you made good points, and I'm not begrudging the caller, but just we can get away with it one more week because Mariota played well. That never enters the discussion for me.
So it does for me completely,
which I get.
We'll actually do that topic later in the show, but as a prerequisite to that conversation, it's obviously worth saying that does not mean I would ever rush him back. He's not playing until he's 100% regardless. But if I can buy him an extra week because I'm now 2-1, and because my quarterback that would start as my backup has had 3 awesome performances in 3 games and just looked amazing this past week, yeah, I feel a lot better about asking Mariota to go start in Atlanta. And I feel like it's a lot less necessary when the entire organization, every player, every coach, everybody in the front office, every staff member, everyone on the social team needs a win, is counting on a win, that I feel like I can get that without Jayden Daniels with more confidence than I did 7 days ago, perhaps, going to Atlanta after the way Mariota played and the way they looked on Sunday.